Hey everyone, this is Rob from StageInTheSky.com, and I thought it was about time I talk about the Manosphere, the Red Pill communities, and what I think about the so-called Christian Red Pill. For those who don't know, if this is the first time to the channel, because I just saw Oshay Duke Jackson's video about Fresh and Fit. He's been beefing with these guys for a long time, and it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you watching these Red Pill channels? I'm like, there's a lot of biblical wisdom in the Red Pill spaces, and I thought I'd take the time to really talk about it, because in my last video I kind of hinted on how a lot of these people who talk about the dating culture and what's wrong with our society and what's wrong with our culture, they don't hit it from, like, they don't talk about the elephant in the room, which is, you know, us moving away from Bible scriptures. Everyone thinks they can do it. We have all these dating coaches, and there's not a lot of people talking about biblical wisdom, you know, and everyone thinks they can do it on their own. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about my journey into the Manosphere, the Red Pill spaces. Like, I've been through basically every channel, the major ones, ever since 2017. And I thought I'd just share for you guys, give you guys some insight, especially if you're new to the channel, especially if you're a female who subscribes to my channel, because a lot of it sounds like we're bashing, but we're not bashing women. We're bashing the culture. Like, the culture, the men who let this happen. There's a lot of male feminists. There's a lot of politics and a lot of corporations in it involved, because, ladies, if you don't know, you make up a majority of the consumer block. So they're going to pander to you. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you, oh yeah, you don't need no man. They don't care about you. They don't care about your happiness. They don't care about your prosperity. All they want is your money. And again, that's not to bash women, but it's just a matter of stating the obvious, right? And very often people tend to deny that, because it's very good to live in delusion as long as you can, but then you end up 40 or 50 and you're very sad. And I'm talking about men and women, right? Like, this isn't good for both of us. Anyways, for this video, let's talk about the Manosphere, right? Because if you go to Wikipedia right now, it's pretty bad. They make it sound like it's this horrible alt-right thing, and that's just a common tactic. I've been seeing these tactics since I was like 23, where if you don't want people to look into something, if you don't want people to root for something or put on shirts or something, a common tactic is to basically demonize it, to make it seem like, oh, that's bad. You don't want to be associated with it. Then, you know, and that's just the popular kids talking, right? The popular kids is Hollywood. The popular kids is, you know, the influencers, you know, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, right? The common people who don't really have a voice, you know, like, they really want to say, hey, you know what, I'm not into these sleeve tattoos, you know, for ladies. Or, hey, you know what, I kind of want a lady who's just old-fashioned tradition, you know, I don't need a boss babe. Those guys, even the females, like the females too, ladies, back me up. A lot of these ladies don't buy into that, but they don't have a voice, you know, when it comes to commercials, movies, TVs, and stuff like that. So that's why they take to the internet. That's basically the essence of why the Manosphere exists. I know people want to demonize it. You know, oh, what?
The family court system truly is biased against men. I mean, there's just no question about it.
How can anybody not be angered by it? But if you start to talk about those issues, people get hostile.
You are f***ing scum.
Male right activists? You know, like, why does that exist? Let's talk about it. So in 2016, I think the genesis of me getting involved with the Manosphere and just learning and just consuming a whole lot of content, believe it or not, started with Trump. I know people don't want to admit it, especially black people, because we're supposed to be Democrat, but I'm an artist. Ever since 2009, I've been writing books. I've been writing screenplays. The thing about being an artist, and every rapper, like anyone who's in Hollywood who call yourself a creative type, you're a hypocrite if you don't admit this. But with us artists, there is no limits to our creativity. We write, we produce, we create whatever we want. When you have a society that tells us, no, you can't write about blank because that's insensitive. No, you can't write about blank because people are going to be offended, you'll be canceled. That's not good. That's kind of messed up, especially when it's hypocritical, right? They'll say tolerance and acceptance, but really, if you don't agree with their ideology, they're not tolerant and accepting of you. We don't like that, you know, like, either it's rules for everyone or rules for no one, you know. And for a lot of us people who are, you know, like, who are honest, you know, we saw what's been happening ever since Obama was in office from 2008 to 2016, and it's just gotten bad. You know, you can't say this, you can't say that. So when Trump started running for office, I didn't care one way or the other. I'm not very political to begin with, but for my job at nighttime, I had to watch these late night talk shows from Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, and I saw, like, the popular kid tactics. Colbert, Fallon, like, they would just talk crap about Trump from the get-go. He wasn't even the primary yet, you know, but they would just, you know, tell his audience, yeah, he's stupid, he's not running for office, but they loved him when he had the Apprentice show.
And the only way we can prove that to you is by having lots of famous people.
Look at me. I will personally write you a campaign check now.
I think that Donald Trump is a clown.
Donald Trump is a clown.
I mean, does anybody seriously think that Donald Trump is serious about running for president?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point. At least I will go down as a president.
Like, when you see that enough times, it starts to weigh on your mind. You're like, you know what? Why do they hate Trump so much? I didn't care before, but now I'm starting to pay attention.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
There was a snippet from Megyn Kelly asking him about, hey, Trump, is it true that you've
called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
That blew my mind. I'm like, he said that? When everyone else is getting canceled and fired? We got to get him in office. This stuff needs to change. People need to be, we have the freedom of speech. We can say whatever we want. Now, there's consequences to saying whatever you want, but damn it, get him in office. Let's change it. The culture needs to change. Cancel culture, social justice warriors, all that needs to go. And if that means getting him in office to change that, I was on board. So in 2016, when Trump actually won, I remember I was up all night because I had to work for my job, and that was one of the best nights. I know, you want to turn on this video right now. I'm like, what? No. But dude, this is the beginning. This is how finally, like, people started to get the courage, because courage and confidence is contagious, right? All it takes is for one leader, one strong leader, to say, you know what, I ain't doing it. But everyone else is doing it. Not me. And then everyone else is like, you know, on their knees. What? You mean we can stand up to this? You know, and they'll do it. And that, I would argue that's what prompted a lot of people to finally speak up. Kevin Samuels was the same way. I'm gonna get it to him. I'm gonna get to him. So in 2016, I saw that, and at the same time, I think Trump had some help from behind the scenes. For you, if you don't know, Milo Yiannopoulos, I know his name is kind of corrupt in the space now, but in 2016, 2015, 2017, Milo Yiannopoulos and Ben Shapiro were kicking ass.
Yeah. I mean, designers put clothes on skinny women because it looks better, because that's what people like to look at. Both women and men prefer to look at that. I mean, the fact is, you know, again, this is not really about men at all. This is about pressures that women put on other women, you know, to look good and to stay thin and to stay healthy. And frankly, those women who do aspire to look like what, you know, you may think are sort of stereotypical standards of beauty or unattainable sort of beauty standards, women who do look like that tend to be happier. They tend to have better success in relationships, and they tend to report that they're more content with life. When I said, you know, women are getting more unhappier every decade, I'm not just pulling that out of my behind. Women these days report, as compared to even 50 years ago, they're far more depressed. They're far more likely to report themselves as generally unhappy with life. They're far more likely to be single, and they're far more likely to contemplate suicide.
They were going to campuses, college campuses around the country.
So, how do you say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid? They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written, though? Okay.
In the name Boy Scouts.
And back then, like I said, the mainstream won't tell you this. The mainstream won't show you this. But back then, you know, like, I saw college students. They were just like me. They were fed up with the whole cancel culture. They were fed up with the social justice warriors. And Milo Yiannopoulos would go and just talk crap about feminists. He called feminism cancer. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I think he is a provocateur. But there's a method to the madness. Ben Shapiro's the same way. Ben Shapiro would, you know, that's where he had the hyperbole and exaggerations, like with the headlines. Ben Shapiro slams feminists. Ben Shapiro destroys college campus. You know, Ben Shapiro would go to college campus and he had a knack for just debating, like hearing their arguments and just destroying it. So all of that happened in 2016, and that it was a wake-up call, I think. That's in 2017. That's when I started discovering, you know, because feminism's bad. What else? Who else is talking about this? And I think YouTube just started showing me other channels. Like back then, it was Turd Fleeing Monkey, Sandman. Sandman, if you don't know, has like probably 1,000 videos, like 10, 14-minute snippets, and he just gives you the bare bones of an underground movement that's happening. He talks about the red pill space. He talks about this thing called men going their own way. I know that's a horrible slogan. Men going their own way, that's not good. I agree. But still, back then, dude, like no one else I saw was talking about it, you know? Men going their own way. It's called MGTOW. Cassie J produced a documentary called The Red Pill. And the Red Pill documentary, I mean, people were like boycotting it, you know, like between that and she was going around the circuit trying to promote it. And all it is just a documentary talking about men's issues, men's rights issues, how the false accusation destroyed various careers. Managers, bosses, they don't want to mentor women anymore because they're afraid to be in a closed room with them, because all it takes is just a lie. It doesn't need to be true. Hashtag believe all women. This is before hashtag believe all women. But men, we're the thing about us men is that we adapt. We see what's happening. Ladies, this is the thing. The difference between men and women, I would argue, is that men listen. We don't just listen to ourselves, but we listen to what women are saying. Other than ladies who watch videos like mine, I'd argue that a lot of women don't listen to men. A lot of women don't listen to what men are saying that they want. They don't listen to what men are talking about, complaining about, but men listen to women. That's why we know all your arguments. That's why we can hear it and debunk it, and basically debunk it with wisdom. We're like, okay, I see that you want this, and that's not good. What does the Bible say? Okay, so the red pill space was basically men talking about, you know, the divorce laws, and it just opened all of our eyes to what a lot of men are talking about, what a lot of men are going through. From there, I got involved with Dave Rubin's channel. Dave Rubin, right now you see a lot of videos and a lot of channels talk where they bring in a guest and they interview people for like an hour. Dave Rubin, I would say, basically like established that format. I have all the links down below, but Dave Rubin, and I loved it. You know, like it didn't matter if you were on the right or the left. It didn't matter if you were gay or atheist. Like he brought on anybody to talk about their philosophies, talk about their ideologies. It used to be this thing called intellectual dark web, and I just devoured that content. I didn't believe or agree with everything that his guests were saying, but I enjoyed the perspective. I appreciated, oh, people like this exist. That ideology exists. There's some points in there I like. There's some points in there I don't like. That's great. This is America. That's how you build intelligence. That's how you build wisdom. As a Christian, I saw him interview atheists, and the atheist said some very inflammatory things. I hate it. You know, like he said that, oh, it's child abuse to teach your child Christianity. I'm like, I hate that. But still, I listen to it, you know? And now when I talk to atheists, I already know their arguments. You know, I can tell them, hey, I understand where you're coming from because I understand your point of view. I've heard this before. Ladies, I know as much as you guys don't want to hear what men have to say, a lot of men say it with not the kindness of words, and, you know, very, you know, just, it sounds like they're just talking down to you, but I would encourage you to listen to what they're saying. A lot of them have valid points, right? And if you keep sweeping it on the rug thinking that, oh, well, the only one who they need to care about is our opinion. The only one who matters in a relationship is the women, not what men think, not men's feelings. You're going to be disappointed because men are men. We adapt. So when it comes to Dave Rubin's interview section, that's, I think, what opened the doors to me seeing other people's content, you know, because he had Tommy Sotomayor on, of course, Milo, he had Ben Shapiro, and somewhere along the lines I discovered a man named DonovanSharpe. This was in 2017. DonovanSharpe was, DonovanSharpe was super funny. He didn't just talk about the red pill space, but he has a lot of experience under his belt. He's like the big brother or uncle I think every man kind of needs. You know, I wouldn't encourage you to go down his path. He talks about it, you know, almost like a cautionary tale. You know, like he's from Las Vegas, he had cocaine, he used to get arrested, he used to do prostitutes. He talked about having well over 40 or 50 women, but man, he really opened my eyes when it comes to the red pill space. I devoured his content. A lot of it was just on point. The reason why it really resonated with me is because for a lot of time, all you have to go on as a young man, where none of your peers are talking about it, right? You're not talking about this in the office space, and a lot of your peers may be millennial, Democrat, liberal, left-leaning peers. That's kind of my world. Like most of my conservative friends are over the age of 50. This isn't when I was like 29, 30, right? Most of them were over the age, you know, and they were married. So I couldn't talk to them about dating. You know, I couldn't talk to them about, you know, the hookup culture and all the flaws with it. And most of my millennial peers were Democrat, left-leaning, you know, so to them, them, they fit right at home in it. They didn't have the Christianity. They don't know what's right and wrong. They're basically the slaves to their feelings. They're God of their feelings, right? So I couldn't talk to them. So when I see content like DonovanSharpe's, where he's basically telling Rock, you're not crazy. Everything you're seeing, it's happening. It's real. It's not in your head. And from there, I saw content like Coach Greg Adams, CGA, Better Bachelor, and I like that these guys started to collaborate a little bit. Even Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, you know, I saw him on DonovanSharpe's channel first. So I mean, I really appreciated the content. I appreciated the big brother wisdom that he was passing down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying that I agree with everything. I'm not saying that everything he said was right and good, but I appreciated the experience, because without it, a lot of us who are basically, we lived in a bubble almost most of our life. You know, we were raised with the white knight mentality where, oh, you open the car door for women, you'll give her flowers, you treat her with love and respect and kindness. And DonovanSharpe was like basically saying, nah, they want assholes. You leave Christianity at the door, you know? And I was like, no. But basically from what I'm seeing, that's kind of true.
I need a drug dealer and then a scammer, then fuck the 9 to 5. I want the scammer first, then the drug dealer, then the 9 to 5.
I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women, ultra respect for women. But then, like I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra nice, you know, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And she told me I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't work because I was too nice. So I went through a week of just going, forget it, I'm just going to be like them. Because they seem to get the girls, and they call girls the B word, you know, and they smack and beat, and they're getting girls.
You know, especially for ladies in their 20s, like a lot of ladies don't go conservative until they reach the age of 30, unless you're born in a Christian community or you know, raised with good parents. And those ladies get snatched up early. They get married early. A lot of my peers from Georgia, where I graduated, you know, they got married when they were like 19, 20 with their high school sweethearts. And a lot of people bashed them, like, really? You're not going to play the field? You're not going to go experience? But now I understand. There's a lot of wisdom in what they did. Kudos to them. They're still married. So DonovanSharpe did a lot of great things, and from DonovanSharpe I discovered Kevin Samuels. This was, again, 2018, before he blew up, before World Star, where he had that clip where he says, buy dog and die alone. I was watching Kevin Samuels, and his videos, he was producing stuff that were like 4 hours long. You know, like where he would have a call-in show, ladies would call in, he'd dress up nice, suited and booted, and he had the patience to just talk to these ladies. I don't have that patience. I'd argue that most men don't. We either back down, where we just acquiesce just to get out of this argument because ladies aren't going to drop the argument, or we just leave them alone. And then they go, oh, well, you can't handle me. You're right. I can't. But Kevin Samuels could. He could sit there, listen to the women, hear what they're saying, and then like just dig through all the BS to pull out the lies and expose them on it.
I got married, but I don't want to be with
You got married?
Yeah.
You're currently married?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ma'am. Are you trolling me?
No, I'm not.
And you're actively on a platform with 1 million folks actively talking about leaving your husband to get back with your ex.
Because he's high value, and I felt like...
It's like, dude, why? Like, what is all this pride and all this deceit getting you? Like, it's keeping you in the same spot. That's why I love I love Christianity. I love the red pill, because the truth sets you free. The truth sets you free so you can keep moving. The lies keep you bogged down, you know, because it's just a delusional state where every day you're waking up repeating the same thing, thinking, okay, it'll be better today. When you got to move forward. You know, the lies are chains holding you down. Kevin Samuels could have conversations, and he exposed a lot of crap, man. He exposed a lot of crap about feminism. He exposed a lot of crap about single mothers, the delusion where a lot of ladies who are, you know, super overweight, they're single mothers, you know, multiple children, baby daddies, and they think they're 10s. Ladies, I know the culture's telling you that you're fine the way you are, that you don't need to change anything, that it's the men that need to change. And he does tell men the same thing. Hey, be better, hit the jump, you know, work on your finances. And I was doing that before I even saw Kevin Samuels. I mean, that's just common sense. Most of us men who want to raise a family, who want to get married, we know we need money to do that. So in our 20s, we're busting our asses trying to make it work, trying to build our career so that we can get women. The problem is those women were doing the same thing. And while they're doing the same thing, they're getting, you know, better bedroom fun, where I'm like, nah, I'm gonna hold off, wait till marriage to have sex. They could care less. They had no morals. You know, they're gonna have their fun. You know, and a lot of them, while they're having fun, oh, I forgot to do birth control. Oh, I forgot to, require, a man to have a condom. And now you're a single mom. And a lot of guys don't want that. I know the culture and everyone from Steve Harvey to whoever, they're saying, what? Like this clip.
When I asked that question about would you date a single mother? And Jacoby, you proceeded to tell me that basically you're a high value man and you are too good for a single mother. However, you did also tell me that you were raised by a single mother. It's just profound for me to think that a single mother's not good enough for you, but it's good enough for a woman to raise you. That's unfair. And it's very insensitive to women out there who have children.
All right, so just because it's a cycle, I wanted to continue?
It doesn't have to continue.
So what I'm saying is that
it's more about why would you cut off and say that single women are not on the same level?
What you're supposed to learn from is history.
So you're a very
intelligent woman. You're a very intelligent woman, right?
Yes.
So if you know, as a woman growing up, you know it's the less likelihood for you to be successful by having a child. So what you do, you be more proactive.
Dating a woman and becoming a father to a single mother are two different things, and she's conflating the two. Kevin Samuels was trying to teach women, hey, that's not good. And some ladies were ready to hear the truth. Some ladies were ready to say, oh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna change my life. And then some were just resistant. And when Kevin Samuels died in, I think, 2021 or 2021, I think, or 2022, I was upset. I didn't know Kevin Samuels personally, but I saw the work he was doing, and little by little, I saw, okay, the culture's changing. Good. But when he died, I saw a lot of ladies also celebrating. When you have someone who's not telling you the truth, but only people are telling you what you want to hear, they can continue to feed that delusion. I just saw a clip from Manosphere Highlights Daily where black women in their 40s and 50s, there's some dating show where they're trying to get these men and they're just crying, oh, it's messed up why they don't want me. It's like, you're 50. These men want families. And we say this with love. I say this with love, not to bash you, because a lot of you ladies, you're beautiful. You had the world at your fingertips and you blew it with Pookies and Ray Rays and Brads trying to hold them down, trying to lock them down, thinking, oh, I had sex with them. And if you just waited, my aunt told me, Rock, you got to forgive the single mothers. It's not so much about forgiveness. It's about respecting the wisdom, like, did you have the wisdom to wait? Did you have the discipline to wait? If you didn't, that tells me a lot. I'm not above redemption stories. I do believe that people can change. I have dated a single mother and she was beautiful. We had the perfect chemistry. The only reason why it didn't work was because the child wasn't great. But I gave it a shot, I have a standard, when it comes to dating single mothers. One, you gotta be smoking hot. You gotta be super attractive. I gotta look at you and just be head over heels with you. Two, our chemistry. Are you fascinating? I enjoy your company. And three, when I meet this child is a good child. I have met children who I didn't know before, but as soon as I met them, I can tell, oh, this is a good heart. I will provide for them. There are some children who are bad. No respect. They have no sense of right or wrong. They do whatever they want. They're super spoiled. And I'm like, no, thank you. So I'm not above single mothers, but even them, they believe they deserve the world, right? A lot of them talk about, oh, well, if you're gonna date me, you gotta, provide babysitter money. I'm like, no, babysitter money? Ladies, if you're a single mom, you gotta understand that you're gonna have to probably do more work. And again, you hearing that from me is not the same as you hearing it from someone like Kevin Samuels or someone with prominence like Steve Harvey. And that's why we admire Kevin Samuels, because we know, you looking at me, I drive a Jeep Compass, I live in a $250,000 condo. That's not the same as listening to someone who makes millions of dollars, an Andrew Tate type figure, who the high value man that you say you want. But most of us guys, us average dudes, us 9-to-5 dudes busting it out here, getting, hitting the gym, making gains, we're thinking the same thing. We have the same mentality, and a lot of you ladies aren't Jennifer Lopez. You're not the Kardashians, but you have this mentality that you deserve the best. Anyways, let me continue. From Kevin Samuels, I discovered Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit, I like Myron Gaines more so than actual Fresh. I like the dynamics. I don't agree with everything they say, but just like with Dave Rubin, where like Andrew Tate, the first time I saw Andrew Tate was on Fresh and Fit's podcast. I appreciated that. I don't like Andrew Tate's personality. I don't agree with a lot of his philosophies, but I like the wisdom and experience that he brings. As an author, that benefits me. It benefits me to have diversity of thought. You know, so I like that. Don't agree with it, but I appreciate what he's saying. I appreciate, oh, I didn't know people like that existed. You had a webcam business? Don't like that, but now I know people like you exist. I'll take that in consideration. And all the ladies that they brought on were, I mean, a lot of them, sad to say, they're not the brightest of ladies, and it's the same kind. They did keep evolving, so I really stopped watching their shows because it's like every show is the same thing, you know. But very often, you know, you see the clips that pop through Instagram. Either way, I think there was value in Fresh and Fit's shows. From there, I discovered MTR, Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews. I liked MTR because he seemed like the voice of reason. Like he basically do reaction videos. He take clips that he saw from people saying the most outlandish things, and he would react to it. And I liked what he was saying. I'm gonna get to a point of where I had to leave him alone, and I had to leave another group of guys alone too. And that group of guys was Abba and Preach. Abba and Preach, I think, was an upgrade from MTR. MTR was one guy, and he spoke from, you know, like there was some levity in what he was saying, but Abba and Preach, mainly Abba, you know, the taller dude. I liked Abba. Abba spoke well, a lot of common sense. You know, he was just telling you this is exactly how it is. This is weird. This is stupid. I like their content, you know, and I appreciate it. I like the variety of content. As you can tell, I'm not just looking at one channel and like forsaking all others. The Manosphere, the Red Pill space is multiple channels. You know, everyone's coming at it from their own perspective. You know, and that's what it is. It's just a perspective. This isn't the gospel. This isn't facts. This is just their opinion. And I appreciate it. It's like getting in a barbershop and you're hearing multiple boys talk about the same thing. I liked it. Here's where I kind of run afoul with these guys. Oshay Dude Jackson's kind of in the same boat. Oshay Dude Jackson is, I think, kind of a funny guy. I give him a lot of credit when it comes to like DonovanSharpe, because DonovanSharpe was a writer for, it's called The Return of Kings was a website, and it has some of the best written essays I'm a writer, and these guys were just on point. They were hitting it. DonovanSharpe was writer for Return of Kings, and then Oshay Dude Jackson put him on when it comes to making videos and content. And there's a video, I think it's probably taken down, where 4 black people, DonovanSharpe, Oshay Dude Jackson, and they were in the room, they're talking about black women and, you know, the struggles of trying to make it work with black women. Oshay Dude Jackson is very pro-black. He's like Dr. Umar, where he thinks, oh, where if you're black, you should only date black, you shouldn't be a diverse investor. I'm not, look at me. You know, I mean, you could tell I'm mixed with something. My family is diverse. If you saw my mom's side of the family, it doesn't look like a family, it looks like a congregation. There are people as white as snow, with green eyes, and they're my blood relatives. My family is diverse. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been attracted to not just black people, but white people. My first crush was Mariah Carey. Sorry. So when you hear Duke Jackson say, oh, if you're black, you gotta date black, I disagree with all that. I think you should date whoever you find attractive. This is America. This is America, Jack. You know. But still, Oshay Duke Jackson, he wants to preach that message. All power to him. Here's where I kind of like had to unsubscribe from a lot of these channels, because the way I saw it, the Manosphere and the Red Pill space, we were fighting the same battle when it comes to feminism and popular opinion and mainstream culture. So the Manosphere was like the underground. It kind of sucks when you're fighting a war and then you take a knee to the and then you take a spear to the back of the knee from one of your own companions. You know, and that's kind of how it felt like with Abba and Preach and, you know, Oshay Dude Jackson, MTR. I don't respect that. Here's what happened with Abba and Preach and Fresh and Fit. Abba and Preach came on the Fresh and Fit show. They had a conversation. I don't think I saw the whole video of that conversation, but I respect it. I'm like, yeah, collaborate. It's the same thing with DonovanSharpe and Coach Greg Adams. I like that. Then I saw, because I was subscribed to Abba and Preach did a hit video on Fresh and Fit. Now, you can say, oh, they deserved it. You could be on one camp or another. The fact is, dude, like if I invite you into my home, we break bread, and then you go back to your place and you put out a hit piece without even consulting me, talking about me, saying, hey, just so you know, a lot of things that you said I didn't really appreciate, I didn't agree with, so I'm gonna do a video on it. I will respect that. That's not what they did. They just did a hit piece, just talking all kinds of stuff about Fresh and Fit. So Fresh and Fit returned in kind. It was kind of childish between both of them, but who started it? That's what I'm looking at. Who started this nonsense? It was Abba and Preach. I don't like that. I didn't respect it, so I unfollowed them. I looked at Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit talked about Preach's wife being overweight. DonovanSharpe still to this day talks all kinds of crap about Fresh's wife because she's kind of overweight. Rock, are you still following them? Yep. Sorry, you know, like, who started it? You know, Rock, turn the other cheek. Yeah, but you can lean out of the way and you can throw some counters. Oshay Duke Jackson, being pro-black as he is, he kind of jumped on board. He, you know, and a lot of it I do think is hate. Like, just straight up hating each other, you know, like Fresh and Fit's like super popular channel, making a lot of money, and you know, a lot of it I think is just jealousy, you know. And you can say, oh no, it's not, and you're standing on principle. I'm like, what principles? Where is it written down? Where are these principles that you speak of? You know, so I didn't appreciate that. And it's the same with MTR. MTR, I guess I can go ahead and talk about Just Pearly Things. For those who don't know, let me talk about the female in the females in the Manosphere space, and then I'll get to MTR and Just Pearly Things. After KevinSamuels died, like, ironically, around that time, like, YouTube started pushing these other channels that were on the rise. One of them was Melanie King. Melanie King is a beautiful black woman, and she kind of started pushing out content like KevinSamuels, where she was just calling out stuff in the space, the feminism, you know, the hypocrisy. I like that. I appreciate it. I think more women need to do that, because it gives the impression that if people aren't speaking up on it, a lot of ladies are on board with the feminism and the hypocrisy and the double standards. So I appreciated women like her. Kendra D from the Crimson Cure channel, I watch her stuff. Pink Book Lessons does a lot of stuff, just calling stuff out, especially with Kiki Palmer or Usher that's going on right now. And then you have Just Pearly Things.
But the majority of men are good men. Ooh, it's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the women. Like, it's a very, like, if you want a guy that's over 6 foot, that's 15% of men. You want him to be cute, cut that in half. You want him to make money, cut that in half. It's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the girls. Like, every girl has a guy in their friend zone that would treat them well, and they know would treat them well, and they know likes them. And it's like, we don't pick them. And then we're gonna cry because the guy we picked is bad to us, but you could have picked the guy in the friend zone.
Here's the deal, because people get upset about it. Oh, like, all you black men you're caping up for. It's not so much that, but it's just like in an industry where it's predominantly one race, and then you have another person come in from a different race and they do it just as well, if not better. That person is going to get a lot more attention because they're different, right? Eminem, Marky Mark, Bubba Sparks, white rappers, and a predominantly black rapping community. Those people are going to get, they could be, not Eminem, Eminem's one of the greatest, but Bubba Sparks could be just on board with like the average rapper, but because he's white, he's going to get more attention because not many are doing it. It's the same in this space, right? When it comes to the whole feminism and, you know, female content creators, the red pill space, Just Pearly Things, there's not many doing it. It was mainly black people, mainly black women, you know? And then you have Just Pearly Things. Just Pearly Things was following the same kind of content or the same platform as Fresh and Fit, whatever's channels, they're doing the same thing, where she brings on guests, and some of her cohorts are black, you know? And people are calling Pearly Things a grifter. I'm not really buying into this whole notion that she's a grifter. Even a lot of people, oh, she's a racist because she had Nick Fuentes on. Again, if you haven't gathered the kind of person I am, I like different personalities. Even if the person that you bring on is a racist, the personality exists. The whole notion of, oh, you shouldn't bring someone on their platform so they can spread their ideology. Who are you, 12? You are responsible for yourself. If she brings on a racist and the racist is pushing racist ideologies, like, for someone to look at that and be like, oh, I'm now racist now, I agree with everything he's saying, that's on them, right? That's not the responsibility of the host. But Rock, you shouldn't give a person a platform. If YouTube didn't exist, if I didn't discover the Manosphere or the red pill space, does that mean that my own opinions didn't exist? Right? Racists are racist. They were racist before they were, you know, before they saw someone else speaking about it. Oh, but Rock, it emboldens them. So what? What are they going to do with it? Again, I talk about when I was in high school and someone walked out in the back of the school and they said white power. This is the middle of Georgia, you know, very, very black. But this one white dude said white power. There were white dudes and black dudes. Look at this guy. Man, you're out of your mind. And just kept walking. You know, we're not that sensitive as black people. Who cares? Who cares? Unless we see someone ganging up on a black dude, about to put a noose around his neck, you can say whatever the flip you want. Right? We're not that sensitive. When I was in college, I remember meeting a whole bunch of black dudes. I remember us talking about it because Obama just won office. And we're like, dude, who cares if someone says an N-word? We're not that sensitive. We're not that weak. We're not that sensitive. Stop acting like, okay, you guys deserve us. We deserve an apology. If you deserve it, sure. Speak for yourself. Don't speak for all black people. We're not all you. So, JustPearlyThings had Nick Fuentes on, and Nick Fuentes, apparently people call him racist. I don't think he's racist. I think he has, I mean, if you're a white man and you have a white daughter and you want to, your grandchildren to be white, I think that's fine. You're free to think what you want. You're free to have that opinion. Your daughter is free to grow up and marry whoever she wants. But if you tell her, hey, I really want you to marry white, that's all power. That dude, give me a flipping break. As if black people don't do the same thing, because that kills me. I'm black. My whole life, like I said, I've been attracted to different races. Black people too. My ex-girlfriend was black, but I've been attracted to white women too. And what do we get in the black community? Fellas, don't lie. Don't lie. What do we get in the black community? You bring home a white girl, there ain't any black girls where you at? We get that all the goddamn time. All the time. So don't, like, this stupid hypocrisy. Oh, well, he's saying he wants, white grandchildren. He doesn't, like, as if we don't. Keep it black. This happens. Stop lying. Stop. Anyways, what happened with MTR is that before Nick Fuentes went on JustPearlyThings show, MTR went on JustPearlyThings show, and this is the same thing that happened with Alvin Preach and Fresh and Fit, where you bring someone into your home, you have a conversation, it's very lighthearted, it's very friendly, and then MTR goes back to wherever he lives. JustPearlyThings has Nick Fuentes on, and because, he's racist, and everyone has this very herd mentality where someone say he's racist, I think he's racist too. What, she didn't push back on this and this? Then I gotta hold JustPearlyThings accountable. That's MTR's big word, accountable. I don't like that. I'm like, again, what standards are you guys living by, right? Because the only person I hold myself the main person I hold myself accountable to is my Heavenly Father, God. I call him Jehovah. That's an English word for Yahweh. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. That's who I hold myself accountable to. Not my fans, not whoever's like. If you're watching this video, if you subscribe to my channel, I'm not asking for money. You barely hear me say, hey, like and subscribe. If you like it, like it. If you subscribe. I appreciate it. I like it. But this isn't my life. I do this to serve God. I do this to preach the Gospels. Laced in all of my messages is the Bible, So hold accountable to who? Who do you think you are? Either way, I didn't respect what MTR did, because basically it's like you basically turn your back on your buddy, like you join the bandwagon of Oshay, Duke Jackson, Alvin Preach, and all these other black content creators who think hating on JustPearlyThings. That's how I saw it. And she deserves she needs to apologize. She needs to be held accountable. Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. Right? All you are just YouTubers. You're just individuals with a microphone and the camera, and you have a lot of followers. Congrats. But you put on your pants one leg at a time like the rest of us. That's all you are. Okay? So I had to unfollow MTR. I didn't respect that. Okay? I'm sorry. I know that, oh man, there's a lot of heat in there, because it bothers me. We're fighting the same fight. Let's focus on the mission. Let's focus on this. We need to fix this over here. Let's focus on that. Stop. Everyone fight their own way. It's like martial arts. Christianity, I describe it as like kung fu. There's different styles, but they're all kung fu. The Manosphere, the red pill space, different messages, different deliveries, different platforms, but it's all the same thing. Let's stop fighting each other and focus on this. We need to fix this. Divorce rates high. Children born outside of wedlock's high. Like, the hookup culture needs to stop. MTR, Oshay, Duke Jackson, Fresh and Fit, DonovanSharpe. I like these guys, but they all promote the hookup culture. I don't respect that about them. I might listen to them. I don't respect that about them. Leaving me to close with this. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, regardless of how much content I create, regardless of how much content I consume, I'm responsible for me. And at the end of the day, the Bible is my ultimate compass. I may take in these guys' opinions and their advice, but DonovanSharpe says, leave Christianity at the door. Guess what I'm going to do? Carry it with me always. I'm put on my first date. I had a pastor uncle, not the best, not the brightest, but he told me, Rock, when you go to your first date, you shouldn't be talking about Christianity. I mean, you don't want to talk about God on your first date. I'm like, why not? If I'm Christian, I'm looking to marry a Christian woman, why wouldn't I put that on the first date where we talk about, hey, what do you believe? Listen to her opinions, listen to her thoughts on it. Why wouldn't I? Because you'll scare her off. Good. What do you think this is? I'm trying to get married to one person for the rest of my life. Right, that's impossible. With God, nothing's impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, with God, nothing's impossible. On my first date, before I even go on the date, when I was on dating, I don't do online dating anymore, but on my online dating site, I had my profile very Christian, very pro-Christian. I live by the Bible standards. I made that very clear because it's the perfect sword and shield against feminism. A lot of feminism and Christianity don't mix. Right? I believe in everyone being equal under the law, and if you work the same job, you should get the same pay if you even perform the same way, because I do believe in meritocracy. But when it comes to the roles of men and women, you know, men are to be the head of our households. Wives are to submit to their husbands. This doesn't come from me. This comes from God's word, the Bible, right? Again, I always say it. If the Bible said that men are to submit to their wives, if the Bible said that husbands are to submit to the wives, if the Bible said that whoever makes the most money in a relationship, they make all the rules, I would do that. Not because that's what the culture's telling me, but that's because that's what God's telling me. That's what it means to put God first. And if you can't do that, if you have a problem with that, that tells me a lot about you. And it's not saying that you're not Christian. It's just saying that you're not at a place where I'm willing to accept that. Right? That's all that means. I love you. God bless you. You know, maybe in a couple of years, if I'm still single and you still look good as you do, and you've, you know, gotten to a place where you have accepted God's word, I might give you another shot. But right now, I can't accept you. We can be buds, but I'm going to keep looking for another wife, you know? And that's just the truth, okay? That's what I mean about the Christian red pill space. Wow, this video is like 45 something minutes long. But hopefully this answers a lot of questions. Ladies, I really hope that this didn't come off like I'm bashing. Fellas, you're free to do whatever you want, you know? You want to still have sex outside of wedlock, you want to get the cheeks, whatever you call it. You know, like, Christianity is a choice. You know, doing what's good in God's eyes is a choice. He won't drag you to heaven kicking and screaming, you know? So the choice is yours. What are you going to do? You don't have to answer to me. You're not accountable to me. You're accountable to God. We're all going to be held accountable to God. At the end of the day, we're all going to be judged. All you people who, oh, I don't want to be judged. No shame. You're going to be judged. It's better to be judged and shamed now while you have a chance to repent than the last day and, you know, it's too late. You know, like you have to answer before God. And if you think that, oh, well, I didn't know, you know, because you didn't have the heart or the duty to pick up the scriptures. If you think that's going to work, Proverbs tells us that's not. He knows your heart. He knows your design. If you envy the wicked and you want to emulate that, or even Jesus Christ, the parable of the sower, you know, he talks about how there are going to be people who hear the word, you know, and they're going to be sprung up. Well, yeah, you know, I want to be a Christian, but then they're going to be strangled by the pressures of the world. Hookup culture is a snare. Sex is a snare. It's always been a snare. You know, God knows that. That's why he puts so much, like, the harshest laws, the harshest punishments on sexual promiscuity, immorality. All right, let me know what you think. Let me know what your journey's been. Have you heard of any of these guys? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want, but you don't owe me anything. I encourage everyone to pick up the Bible, read it for themselves, and if you do that, that would make me happy.